अपन बस से।
We'd like to remind passengers on the upper deck to please remain seated. Easiest way to get here, but faced a lot of opposition when it was being built. Even the poet William Morris visited the Lake District for the first time. In the first year, almost 120,000 visitors came by train, with the option of or enjoy the stroll.
The next stop is Badley Clock. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight.
Mountford John Bird Badley, a local author of travel and guidebooks, and whose works are believed to have inspired Alfred Wainwright to write his famous Lake District guides. However, the island has been inhabited periodically since Roman times. There was also a 13th century manor house built for William de Lindsay, which was abandoned.
The next stop is Bowness Pier. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
We will shortly be arriving at Bowness Pier. Please note, some journeys will terminate here. If the bus turns into the pier concourse, it's terminating here. If not, it's continuing the Braithwaite Fold. The pier is one of three main pierheads on the lake, along with Lakeside to the south and Waterhead to the north. For anyone wishing to take a cruise on the lake, the ticket office, the Windermere Lake Cruises, is on the pier concourse. If you're leaving us here, please check you have all your personal belongings with you, and we thank you for using.
वाह भाई वाह। आ जाओ। थैंक यू भाई। We're going to Blue Eyes ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਹੈ ਮੁਖਤਲਿਫ ਇਲਾਕਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੈਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ज़्यादा दूर ले जाना है लोग टिकट ले रहे हैं बड़ी दुनिया आई हुई है बड़ी खूबसूरत जगह है क्या बात है बड़ी खूबसूरत जगह देखो खाला और आइसक्रीम इंजॉय कर रहे हैं लो जी रस्से खिंचे जा रहे हैं लो जी सफाई करते पे ने चलो जी किश्ती रिड़ पई है वाह भाई वाह चल भाई मोड़ कट उसको रास्ता दो
Life rafts, life rings and buoyancy tanks. These are situated around the vessel in accessible locations and are designed to be released or float free in the unlikely event of an emergency. Life jackets are located under the seats in the lower saloon. We do ask that passengers on the upper deck refrain from standing on the seats or leaning over the safety rails. In the event of an emergency arising, please remain calm, seated and follow the instructions that will be given by the crew. Miss Cumbria for cigarettes. Finally, please keep children with you at all times and don't allow them to run around the vessel. Thank you and enjoy your cruise on Windermere.
So good afternoon ladies and gents, welcome on board Miss Cumbria 4 for this 45-minute island cruise. Fingers crossed the weather's going to stay dry, but it's been a very changeable day today, so let's hope we've got 45 minutes of dry weather. I've got some spaces downstairs, so if it does get wet, don't get soaked upstairs, just pop downstairs. You might have to share the tables, but should just about be able to fit you all downstairs if it falls down with rain later on. Now as we go around the island cruise, I'll give you a little bit of running commentary. I'll probably give you quite a bit of running commentary. I do tend to talk a bit.
private
And we'll start by saying you're sailing on Lake Windermere. Lake Windermere, it's the longest lake in England. It's 10.5 miles long. It's about a mile wide at its widest, and it's 220 feet deep at its deepest. Lake Windermere is split into two main basins. So you've got the northern basin, that's the basin that you can see directly ahead of you. And you've got the southern basin, that's over to our left hand side. Can't quite see it from here, it's sort of hidden by the bay, but once you get through that bay it opens up, and that's the longer basin stretching for about 6.5 miles all the way down to the lakeside. We're just going to go around a couple of these islands here, then we'll go around the back of this big island on our left hand side, and then we'll head off and do a couple of miles down the southern basin. The home was named after a small chantry chapel that was established on there in the mid-13th century by a gentleman called Walter de Lindsay. And the chapel was served by 2 monks, and they were expected. Soul would be well looked after by the monks of Ladyholme. Now if you look in the trees of Ladyholme, certainly on the left hand side, look at those dead looking trees, you'll see some rather large blackbirds perched in the trees there, and these are cormorants. These particular cormorants have taken up residency on Lake Windermere. They're normally coastal birds, but they don't mind where they live as long as they've got access to a plentiful supply of fish, because that's what they eat for their dinner. The very greedy birds, they eat up to twice, or they can eat up to twice the body weight a day in fish, but they're excellent swimmers. They can dive to about 40 metres deep. And because of the diet, the droppings are very toxic, so when they do the inevitable, the droppings fall on the trees, and the toxic droppings then strip all the bark off the trees, and that ultimately kills the trees, which is why you see quite a few dead looking trees on Ladyholme and other parts of Lake Windermere where the cormorants tend to birds, but do a little bit of damage to the tree-like trees around Lake Windermere. To take my word for it, there's a rather large mountain called Finfield Horseshoe, and from an English point of view it's quite a high mountain. Well worth walking up there if you've got the energy to do it, and when you get to the top there you'll be standing at the giddy height of 2,000. To your right hand side now, you'll see a sort of derelict looking building halfway up the hill there, with lots of people looking out over the balconies. Now, this is Cleve Station. It was built in the mid-18th century. It was primarily built as a viewing platform. The building was quite a bit bigger before it fell, parts of it fell down, and back in those early days of the Victorians, the Edwardians, they would hold tea dances in the back of the building, but its primary purpose was as a viewing platform, and the way it worked was in each of the 6 large windows at the front of the building there were 6 different colours of stained glass. And you'll see the entries from circles around the range of other areas of shallow water. But then the part of the setup this part of the road, the average depth is near it's not on the top of the process. It's not hard to say that what is wrong, just beneath the surface of the lattice or the bottom channel in these particular areas. Some of those areas of shallow water have been pretty wonderful names. We've got Pet Rock, Chicken Rock, we've got Bull's Head, and we've even got an Oven Bottom. Follows the lake shore all the way there. It's all privately owned land all the way up to the lake shore there. So, thanks to Beatrix Potter and the National Trust, we can do that. So long may that legacy continue. 2 more islands coming up on our left hand side. They're collectively known as the Lilies of the Valley. And the old names of Smallholm and Ingham, they've largely been forgotten now, and they take a newer name from the Lilies the Edwardian era, in which there were 300 rowing boats you could hire in Bowness. go out to one of these two islands.
मैं ना यार रूह राजी हो गई यार एडी खूबसूरत तो बदल छाए हुए हैं काले बदल छाए हुए थे सारे भाई वाह भाई वाह मौज यार बड़े बदल आए भाई
So ladies and gents, sadly we're coming to the end of the island cruise. Do hope you've enjoyed your trip around the Lake Windermere.
बारिश होती है और साइड में
Interest.
बारिश होती है
Certainly got away with the weather on that one, so
बस बारिश होती है
some dry weather, which is a bonus. Now, as we come into land at the pier in Bowness in a couple of minutes' time, if I could ask all passengers now, if you haven't already got yourself a seat, just grab yourself a seat now and remain seated until we're safely tied up alongside the jetty. Once we're safely tied up alongside the jetty, I'll let you know what roads
वाह
back
भाई
in those days.
वाह
Trying
बदल
to
कितने सोने
carry
आए
a
ओए ओए ओए
laden horse and cart around there would have taken a considerable length of time. So the ferry crossing there saving a huge amount of time, very much a vital service back in those days. So crossing the lake at this part of our journey is the Windermere car ferry. You can just see her on the left hand side, just landing on the other side of the shore there. And she's called Mallard, and interestingly, she pulls herself across the lake on two steel cables, and she can carry about 15 cars and up to 100 foot passengers on the 4-minute crossing that it takes to get from one side of the lake to the other. And that 4-minute journey saves you having to do a car journey.